I'm going to talk about 3 rifles that I had the opportunity to shoot at the shooting range yesterday. I did make a short video at the range, but there was people there most of the time, so I couldn't make a very long video. But I shot 3 rifles, 6.5 Creedmoor, all 3 of them. Just wanted to talk about each one a little bit. First one is the Kimber Pro Hunter. Very lightweight gun, camo stock, Cerakoted barrel. Does have a muzzle brake, which in my opinion isn't really needed on the 6.5 Creedmoor, but it is a very light gun, so I guess it's good for some purposes. Certainly wouldn't want to shoot it without hearing protection at the range very many times because it's quite a bit louder with the brake on the end. This one I have a 4-12 by 50 SIG Whiskey 3 scope on it. Very impressed with the SIG scopes. Very bright, very clear. Adjustments are good. It's the lower end of the SIG line. They have a Whiskey 5 and then they Tango and on up from there. But these scopes are very good. I was very impressed. It definitely was clearer and brighter than the other 2 scopes that I'll talk about as I go through the 3 guns. I did have one of these guns in one of my earlier videos. This is a second one of that same model. So I've been shooting it, breaking it in. Basically yesterday I was just shooting to break them in and get them on target. Wasn't really trying to shoot small groups or anything. So I was just using the bipod on the front, no bag on the back. So nothing overly serious about accuracy. The Kimber does have the 3-round detachable mag, and it seems to function pretty good if you get it in right. It seems like you got to put the back end in and then the front. But nice gun, very light, kind of nice looking if you like that look. The Cerakoted barrel is supposed to help it not rust and things like that. So that's the Kimber. Next one up is a newer gun, Mauser from Germany. Has made rifles for a long time, since the World Wars, and in the last year or so they came out with a kind of a lower end version to compete with the cheaper rifles that seem to be the hot ticket nowadays. So this one's just a push feed. It doesn't have control round feed like the Mausers of old, but it's a pretty nice gun. It's definitely heavier than the Kimber. It has a 5-round magazine, which is nice if you want some extra rounds. It functioned well, shot well, no complaints. I have a 4-12 by 50 Leupold VX3 on this gun. And since I'm not sponsored by anybody, I can tell you that I was pretty disappointed with the brightness and clarity of the glass in the Leupold. I always thought Leupolds were pretty good, and then I started getting some SIGs and some Vortex, and I feel like the clarity and the brightness in the glass is better in those than in the Leupolds. So that's the Mauser Model 18. Pretty nice gun for the money. And third, I have a Ruger American Predator, also 6.5. I think it has 4+1 in the mag. It's a rotary mag, so you put the rounds in and they kind of go around in a circle as you're loading them. And pretty nice gun, lower end Ruger. Not overly lightweight. If you can tell, the barrel is slightly heavier than a typical hunting rifle. It does have a threaded barrel that you could put a brake on if you wanted to. I don't have a brake on it at the time. And this one has a 4.5 to 14 Nikon Buckmaster scope. That was Nikon's lower end scope. Nikon has gotten out of the scope making business recently, but it's a decent scope. I think it was a little brighter and clearer than the Loophole, but not nearly as bright and clear as the SIG scope. These Ruger American Predators are known for shooting really well. They only cost about 400 bucks. Nothing fancy. The stock's pretty cheap, flexible. It doesn't seem like, when you consider everything, that it should shoot as well as it does, but a lot of people have been shooting way less than an inch groups with these at 100 yards. So pretty good gun for the money. I happen to have another one of these that I just recently bought, haven't shot it yet, and I decided I wanted to put a different stock on it, a stiffer, heavier stock. It has an aluminum bedding in it to make it more rigid. So I'm going to see if I can do that. It just was delivered today. So I'm going to see if I can do that here in the video without getting too frustrated. So stick with me.